Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Very grateful for being here this afternoon. Thank you so much for the invitation. I am supposed to talk about vitamin D, and because a study came in 2022 and was published in New England Journal of Medicine, and it categorically said that most of the times people do not benefit from vitamin D supplementation, and I'm going to discuss that study also. First of all, I must confess that our presence here is only because of my and Somia's, because of Dr. Altaf Cheema's persistence and insistence. We had planned a conference in Karachi on the same dates, that is Pakistan Society of Internal Medicine. But because of the Champions Trophy, it has been delayed. So thank you for inviting us. Thank you, Aftab Saab, and the entire organization. I am going to start with the extraskeletal roles of vitamin D. ये time by default नहीं आ रहा या by design नहीं आ रहा? There are risks of cancer, infectious diseases, and autoimmune and cardiovascular diseases, and when you have higher level of vitamin D in the blood, the risk is reduced. This is for sure known, but no study or no research has found a causal relationship in the levels of vitamin D and these extraskeletal disorders. Then there is a role of vitamin D in lessening of mortality. And this I have taken from UpToDate, which is a very famous book, and it is updated regularly. It is a site. And it says that if you have low levels of vitamin D, it is associated with increased mortality. But low levels over there are defined less than 20 nanogram per milliliter. And vitamin D, when supplemented in elderly people and adults, in deficient people, it reduces mortality. Vitamin D supplementation has been found to be helpful in people who are truly deficient. Truly deficient means 20 nanogram per milliliter or less. But there is increasing data that up to 30 may also be insufficient or deficient. So these people must receive vitamin D, and this is January 2025, updated very recently. Avert vitamin D deficiency, which we were taught when we were young students. We remain young, but we are not taught anymore, we teach. So the thing is, osteomalacia and rickets, they have become rare, both in the developed world and the developing countries. But subclinical vitamin D deficiency still exists, and it is associated with osteoporosis, fractures, and falls. Osteoporosis, fractures, and falls. And vitamin D levels decrease with increasing age and increasing body mass. If when you grow older or when you grow obese, your vitamin D tends to go down, especially in winters. In the hemisphere where there is real winter, vitamin D is not produced by skin. वैसे पाकिस्तान में it is not produced by skin most of the time, and I'll share the data here. Pakistan has the highest prevalence of vitamin D deficiency amongst in adults of all the South Asian countries. 73% plus. So all of you who are sat here, 7 out of 10 are vitamin D deficient, unless you are taking a supplement regularly. So what is the normal level? The normal levels are between 30 nanogram per milliliter to 100 nanogram. Below 30 to 20 is insufficiency, and below 20 is deficiency. Above 150 is intoxication. This slide shows that osteoporosis, which is associated with fractures, falls, and some increase in mortality, is higher when the vitamin D is deficient and becomes to a plateau when it is 30 nanogram or beyond. Lower the vitamin D level, higher is the risk of osteoporosis. How is it caused? It is caused by secondary hyperparathyroidism. And the lowest risk is not seen at 20 nanograms, but the lowest risk of secondary hyperparathyroidism is seen at 30 nanogram, and that is what should be aimed for in all adults. This was a study taken from Germany. You know, in Germany, on the motorways, which are called autobahns, there is no speed limit. Excuse me. Hi, ma'am. Can I have all of your attention? Thank you. So 675 German motor vehicle accidents, victims were biopsied, their bones were biopsied, and the extent of bone mineralization was elaborated with vitamin D level, 25 hydroxy vitamin D. And what did they find? They found that if it was less than 30, 26% people had osteomalacia. Osteomalacia is bone matrix without calcium, without mineralization. And similarly, osteoidosis is bone available but not mineralization, and it is an earlier form of osteomalacia. So, and no evidence of osteomalacia if the vitamin D levels were at 30 nanograms per mils. Very significant study. So, vitamin D levels are critical in or for our health. This is that study called VITAL study, and it said that supplemental vitamin D and incident fractures in midlife and older adults are not affected by supplementation of vitamin D, and I'm going to highlight a few flaws in this study. This is the person who conducted the study, and he said that people should stop taking vitamin D. The study was carried out in about 26,000 individuals. The study looked at vitamin D supplementation and omega-3 fatty acid and was conducted for more than 5 years. But this is wrong, and this is based on some flawed data. So I'll highlight what the flaws were. The people who were randomized in the study were already taking, most of them were taking 800 international units of vitamin D. This I had taken from the presentation which was made by Michael Hollix, who is known as an avatar of vitamin D. And when vitamin D is provided or supplemented, most of the time the pharmaceutical companies will put more than 800 international units. So practically they were taking about 1,200 international units per day. And the mean baseline vitamin D, which is 25 hydroxy vitamin D, was 30 or more in 64.7% people. So 64.7% people in that group of people who were randomized were not deficient. और अगर वो 20 वाली डेफिनेशन ली जाए जो कि नेशनल एकेडमी ऑफ मेडिसिन फॉर्मली कॉल्ड एज इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिसिन, वो 20 नैनोग्राम्स को कहते हैं कि डेफिशिएंट है, तो उसके मुताबिक 87% were having adequate vitamin D. So that is why the study did not show any benefit. 87% were considered to have sufficient vitamin D in the population who was randomized to either receive a placebo or the vitamin D supplement with omega-3 fatty acid, and they were allowed to continue their supplemental vitamin D up to 800 international unit. इस वजह से the study gave results which was then told everywhere. So only 20.9% population of the study subject was actually deficient. और ये उसका है, they looked at the fractures and they looked at the falls in that study. And the placebo and vitamin D showed same results. There was no significant difference. And also mortality. And I have explained the reason, that the reason was that only 12% population amongst the study subject was actually deficient. और जो randomized हुए placebo पर वो भी up to 1200 units ले रहे थे. So this was not a placebo-controlled study at all. However, they claimed that it is a placebo-controlled study. So when you have a deficient vitamin D, what happens? You lose bone. And bone loss is not asymptomatic most of the time. Bone loss, osteoporosis may be asymptomatic, but osteomalacia and rickets are not. And they are not a silent disease. Vitamin D deficiency is a silent disease most of the times. And you have noticed, and you must have noticed, that we get more aches and pains during winter times. और एक हमारे जो clothing के traditions हैं in our country, in various studies it has been found that in Pakistan vitamin D deficiency amongst adults is more than 80%, and it has been debated a lot of times that you need not assess vitamin D level or status, and you can prescribe vitamin D to all the adults unless there is a clinical condition, and I'll dwell on it a little later, how to find out people whom vitamin D can cause some harm. So what are the symptoms when there is bone loss? Symptoms are pain, it can be generalized, muscle aches, and it can be fatigue. So these symptoms are very common, and I am sure that you must have come across people who say कि जब हम ये अपना regular supplement नहीं लेते तो we start feeling ache and pain, and the patients continue to take their regular supplements even after you have stopped reminding them. And once the supplementation is started, it should be given for lifelong. And as the age progresses or the body mass increases, the need for supplementation is enhanced. So in fibromyalgia, in a study it was found that 40 to 60% people of fibromyalgia were actually having osteomalacia were actually having vitamin D deficiency, and fibromyalgia may most of the time people believe and say that it is a neuropsychiatric disease, whereas if you look into it and just do the simple test, calcium phosphate, alkaline phosphatase and vitamin D, you will discover that most of them have osteomalacia because of vitamin D deficiency. So musculoskeletal pain is equivalent to vitamin D deficiency and osteomalacia, and it can be readily corrected by supplemental vitamin D. This was a study of 150 people aged 10 to 65 years presenting with bone and muscle pains. 93% of these people were actually vitamin D deficient. It is almost synonymous. Muscle pain, body aches are synonymous with vitamin D deficiency and osteomalacia. This is a very funny cartoon. The person is asking his buddy dog, my bones and muscle aches, and the dog, who is the most reliable companion in the West, यहाँ पे भी reliable है, says, stupid, you are vitamin D deficient. It is so obvious. I was working in UK, and there was this ad coming up regularly and on the TV. There is a banda, he is left by his girlfriend, and then he is moving into a forest, very gloomy, and there is all autumn, there are no leaves, and he is so upset, and he's thinking about his girlfriend or wife, a woman who has left him. Then he comes to a car and starts it and leaves. And that is a Volkswagen. And then it comes, I hope, if everything was as reliable. So dogs are very reliable, like Volkswagens. So when you have vitamin D that is sufficient, you have less fractures because of increased bone mass density, you have more muscle strength, increased balance, and less risk of fall, and more healthy. How to treat it? Very simple. 50,000 international unit vitamin D, that is for adults, once a week for 8 weeks. Very simple. Or people can give 200,000 international unit every 2 weeks for 8 weeks. And after this, the deficiency will be covered, and then you have to maintain it. For maintenance, you give 50,000 international unit once every 2 weeks, or a 200 international unit once a month, and that must continue. This is the dosage schedule. I'm not going to go into this. These are the people who can have problems when they receive vitamin D. Isme number 1 are granulomatous diseases, tuberculosis and sarcoidosis, metastatic bone disease, especially prostate and elderly people, and some rare disorders. Lekin, how can you detect this is a problem once you have started the supplement? As I advised, you may not do the level to begin with, because 80% are deficient anyway. 3 to 4 months down the road, you can do a serum calcium. And if calcium is high, then you can look at the underlying diseases. And some overt diseases like CA prostate, which has metastasized, or people who have active tuberculosis or sarcoidosis, you should not prescribe. लेकिन अगर आपने किसी silent disease में देखना है, so you can just do a calcium level 3 to 4 months down the supplementation, and this I will skip. And this is an invitation now, sir. ये मैंने जान के रखा 14th to 16th February, because that was it. Now the dates are 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th of April. The venue is Hotel Movenpick, Karachi. All of you are welcome to attend. Lots of international organizations, International Society of Medicine, many foreign speakers are going together. Somia Iqtidar, she is the force behind all conferences of Pakistan Society of Internal Medicine. She is a very vibrant Secretary General, and we are very lucky to have her here this afternoon. And all of you are welcome to Karachi, sir. You be our special guest of honor. So, in summary, vitamin D is neither a myth nor a mystery, but a reality which is supplemented by real data and evidence. So, doctors कौन के लिए message है कि vitamin D must be taken for most of the adults and useful. Or vitamin D toxicity जो है, it is extremely rare and can occur at beyond 150 nanogram per ml. Thank you very much.